Hey everybody, I'm John Hammond. Welcome to Debunking the Bible Part 1. We're going to start with genetics. Most of us have a pretty good understanding of how genetics works, right? I mean, do I need to explain the basics about passing on Y chromosomes, mitochondrial DNA, variances in allele frequencies? Do I need to, illustrate all this, or can I jump right in? Screw it, I'm gonna jump right in. In Genesis, Eve is created a completely different way from everything else. Eve is taken from Adam's rib. This essentially makes her sort of like a clone, or rather a genetic restructuring to make her female. The problem with this is actually what we see in genetics is that hermaphrodites can't reproduce, mostly because they only have one working sex organ, but also they have all the same genes, so that you can't reproduce with yourself. I think it's highly unlikely that a clone of Adam could reproduce with him, as they would have all of the same base pairs, all of the same Y chromosomes, the same allele frequencies, the same mitochondrial DNA. But let's ignore that for a second, just for the sake of argument, and extrapolate into their offspring. Cain murders Abel, goes to the land of Nod, and gets a wife out of nowhere. If people were that closely related, over time, the recessive genes would build up, and there would be all kinds of physical deformities. There would be problems with sperm viability. There'd be a buildup of genetic disorders, facial asymmetry, infant mortality, all kinds of problems, and they really can't be avoided. I hear a lot of people say things like, God makes it possible that humans were closer to perfection back then. If you don't understand why that doesn't make sense, then don't even bother trying to respond to this. Simply put, if humans were descended from two people, there would be nowhere near enough genetic diversity, and we would have died out long ago, regardless of whether Adam and Eve could have reproduced in the first place. This kind of genetic bottleneck happens more than once in the Bible, but as there's a whole bunch of problems related to Noah's Ark, I'll save that for another episode. Also, it should be noted that human beings have a rather comprehensive gene mapping program that has been going on for a number of years that traced our mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosomes and all that goodness back through time to find what's commonly referred to as genetic Adam and genetic Eve. I should point out that they lived in different parts of Africa and they didn't live at the same time. Yep. For anyone who would like to seriously engage some of these issues, feel free to do so. I have a feeling I'm going to have fun with this, so stick around, everybody. This is just getting started.